we're going to have a look at equivalence. So we can link two propositions with if and only if. We call them an equivalence. So P, the equivalence of P, if and only if Q, and we represent it with our double-headed arrows. So that is an equivalence. So we say they're logically equivalent if they imply each other. So you can reverse the order and it still holds. So consider P, I will pass the exam, and our statement Q, the exam is easy. So if P, then Q. If I pass the exam, then the exam is easy. If we swap them around, if the exam is easy, then I will pass. Both of them still work. So we can say that they're logically equivalent. If I will pass the exam if and only if the exam is easy. So it doesn't matter which order we have it in. If we look at that about, well, how does that work? If we break up the statement if P then Q linked with and if Q then P, so we break it into our tables, we can see that when they are both true, we have a logical equivalence. So if we have, if they're not both the same, we can see that they are false. So here is our truth table, which remember you will be provided. Let's have a look at one in practice. So we have the statement P if and only if, not Q. So we'll start filling out our table. We'll start with true and then a false, true and then a false. Not Q, so we said that was true. This will be a false, true, false, true. So it's P if and only if, not Q. So we're looking at our if and only if column and remembering that it's if, then. So we have, starting with P, then not Q. So we would look at if P, then not Q. So we have a true, then a false. So a true, then a false would lead us to a false. Then I have a true and a true. True and a true leads me to a true. False and a false and a true. So false, false gives me a true. And because they're not even, we have a false and a false. Sorry, that's a false and a true. My mistake leads us to a false. Sorry, my mistake. A false and a false leads us to a true. So you can see that if they are the same, it leads us to a true statement. So a true and a false is false. A true and a true gives us a true. So when we have two of the same, they're logically equivalent and the statement will be true.